Hello, and welcome to Business Today. In Business Today, we're going to talk about different items that affect your business here in Farmington Hills. On today's episode, we're going to talk about finance. We'll have someone on from CEED and also someone on from the Oakland County One Stop Shop. I hope you enjoy today's episode.
To streamline the strategy for scalable solutions, they increase bandwidth and expand the positioning of the strategy.
I have to get FaceTime with my client partner and my senior exec.
What's the strategy?
I'll build a model, send you a spreadsheet, and reach out to consultants.
I have a meeting play style and conference call scheduled at 6 p.m. EST.
Prioritize the RFP.
I booked this meeting room for my 2 p.m. CST conference
There
call.
are a couple questions with clients that are up in the air.
It's just business today.
Hello, Belinda. Thank you for coming out today to Business Today.
Thank you very much for having me, Calpani. I appreciate it.
We're glad to have you here. So let's jump right into it. You work with CEED. Can you tell me a little bit about what is CEED and how you came up with the name?
Absolutely, thank you. First of all, CEED stands for the Center for Empowerment and Economic Development. We are a nonprofit organization headquartered in Livonia, and we do a number of things, including small business loans, which I'll talk a little bit more about. And I manage the loan program for Oakland County and the city of Detroit.
Okay. So CEED obviously then is spelled with a C, not an S.
That is correct.
So it's the Center for Economic Empowerment and Development.
Well, Center for Empowerment and Economic Development.
Empowerment and Economic Development. Thank you
It's
for
a tongue twister, I
for
know.
putting me straight on that. All right, and we're going to talk about small business loans. Before we get right into that, I was just talking to someone about small businesses, and it's kind of a misnomer. What is a small business?
Well, actually, and there are many small businesses. We tend to not understand that. A small business can be anyone from 1 to 10, and anything from $100 a year up to sometimes millions of dollars, just depending on what that size is. And again, we have many small business owners.
Right, and so the reason why I wanted to ask you that question before we quite got started was I know a lot of people think, oh, I'm not a small business or I'm too big, and a lot of times they actually are not.
That is correct.
And so I wanted to start by talking about one individual. Recently I was working with someone who wanted to get a loan from a bank, and they actually wanted, comparatively speaking, a small loan. They were looking for about $50,000. Okay. They had almost that amount of money in the bank, but they just didn't want to go through all of their cash, so they wanted to get a loan, and they could not get a traditional bank loan.
Sure.
Can you tell us a little bit about your underwriting standards and how you may approach a situation like that?
Absolutely. We are a bit different from your traditional lender. First of all, the credit score doesn't dictate loan approval or denial. So we can look at the lowest of low and the highest of high, but that doesn't tell us what to do. What we're really concerned with is the business plan and the projections. We are looking for a business plan that makes sense with supporting projections that do as well. So the credit score doesn't dictate. We are also more flexible when it comes to collateral. We don't do a 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 like some of the traditional banks do. We really are very flexible when it comes to collateral.
All right. So I know when I first met you in regard to your microloan program.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that program.
Okay. Well, we have now changed the name to Small Business Loan, but
Okay.
it's still the loans are from $5,000 to $50,000. We cover 9 areas in Southeast Michigan, 9 counties in Southeast Michigan, including the city of Detroit. Our loans can be used to help businesses purchase equipment, inventory, machinery, and some working capital. And we also look at not only the existing business owner, but the startup as well as the home-based business.
Startups and home-based businesses are eligible for your program.
That is correct.
That's very important because, we've heard a lot recently about banks not quite lending, and I would imagine that since we've gone through the recovery, some of that has changed, maybe not completely. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're seeing in the credit markets?
Right, and I would certainly agree with you. I think things are getting better. In fact, sometimes we are at the same table with the traditional lenders trying to work out a deal. So it's become a bit more flexible, but we still have some businesses, especially when they're startups, the banks don't have an appetite for the startups necessarily. So that's where we come into play. And again, with the credit score that might be a little bit lower or, the weakness in collateral, that's where CEED comes in.
All right. So can you give us an example of a loan that maybe you've worked on recently? Names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Absolutely. Well, yes, absolutely, I can do that. We have, and I can tell you some names because they'll allow me to do that, but I have one, Pop Daddy Popcorn. They are actually headquartered in Highland, but will soon be moving to Farmington Hills. And this is a gentleman who started his business at home. Worked at it at home for about a year and a half, and then moved into a location, and now a second location, and came to us because he needed equipment to help that business grow. He had these contracts coming in, so again, that's where we came in. I have another business, downtown Detroit, 3 dogs, 1 cat. They're located in Eastern Market, and so it's for pets, pet owners who really have, the dogs and cats who kind of tell them what to do and tell them where to go. This is where they want to go to get supplies for their pets. So we also have in downtown Farmington, I love this lady. She owns Merle Norman Cosmetics, but she also owns a wig salon, and she is excellent. Her and her customers have a really good relationship because these are women who have lost their hair for any number of reasons. It could be because of cancer and chemotherapy. It could be just because, natural reasons of losing hair. And ladies are very, we're very concerned about our hair. We don't want to lose hair. And when that happens, she helps them out with wigs, and is very good at making them feel comfortable about an uncomfortable situation.
Well, that's awesome. And so all sorts of reasons why they may have chosen to come to CEED and get their loans. So if I'm wanting to come to CEED, how do I do that? Where will I find you?
All right. Well, there are any number of ways. We have our website, obviously, www.miceed.org. I also spend a couple days a week at the Oakland County Business Center, and I do monthly loan orientations there. They're usually the second Wednesday of the month, and at those loan orientations, I walk you through the loan process. I tell you, what you need to prepare or what you need to have, and some best practices, some do's and don'ts. And, hopefully after that 2-hour process, you're really comfortable with, okay, this is what I need to do to get started. And it might not be getting the loan at that point, because maybe there are some other things you need to do. I do work with, I've got some resource partners that I work with, SCORE, the Service Corps of Retired Executives, as well as the Small Business Development Center. There are consultants there who work with our loan clients to help them get that business plan together, help them get those projections together, and then move forward to the loan.
That was going to be the next question that I was going to ask you. Are there other services that CEED provides, and what are some of your service partners that you work with? So we talked a little bit about the service partners, but let's backtrack a little bit and talk about the idea that I think I want a loan, and I'm coming in and I want this money, and maybe I do need the money, but maybe I don't need a loan, or maybe I don't need as much as I've asked for. So when I come in and talk to you, tell me what it is that your CEED is going to do to help me determine exactly how to move forward.
Absolutely. Well, again, I'm going to meet with you. I'm going to be reading through that business plan, and if it's not quite ready, I would refer you to one of our resource partners to help you with that, to get it to a point where I feel it's, okay, this is something that can happen, this is something that's going to work, and we're ready to stand behind you and help you move forward. So that's one thing we do. We also have someone on our staff who provides technical assistance to our loan clients. And so that person, once a loan has actually been granted, we don't just give you the money or loan you the money and expect you to pay us back and go away. We become entrenched in your business. We help you grow your business, whether it's through marketing, helping you understand that cash flow and what those numbers mean. We really become a part of that business, and those services are free to you as long as you're a loan client. So that technical assistance that we provide is a free service that you get when you get us. So that's something that we do. We also have the Michigan Women's Marketplace. That's an online resource for our for our women business owners, and that is a free resource that's online. They have access to conferences, they have access to training, to webinars, and that is a free service that we provide. We also provide the WBEC Great Lakes, which is the, let me make sure I get it right, the Women's Business Enterprise Council, and that's a very important part of what CEED does, because that allows our WBEs, our Women Business Enterprises, to meet with the executives at DTE, at Ford, at Henry Ford Hospital, and they meet with the buyers and sellers. There's networking events. They get to talk one-on-one. So they get to understand what the buyer needs, and they provide that service to the buyers. So those networking events are things that our WBEs can participate in. And then, of course, there's the loan system that we provide as well.
So I was smiling almost the whole time you were saying that, because we think about it, we go to a bank or we go to a lending institution, we get a loan, we make our payments, and that's the end of it. Mm-hmm. But here, it's not. You really become CEED becomes a partner with the business to make sure that they succeed.
Absolutely.
All
yes.
right.
Yes.
So have you ever had an instance, as I began that first question, where a client comes in and says, I want this much money, and as you've gone through it with them, you said, honestly, I've looked at your business plan. I think it's a pretty good business plan, but you actually need X plus Y.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yes, and we do work with other traditional lenders as well. So for instance, maybe that business owner needs $150,000. Our max is $50,000. They can secure $100,000 from someone else, from another lender, and come to us for that remaining $50,000, and we'll take a secondary lien in that position, in that loan. So that's something that we do. We work not only with our resource partners, but with traditional lenders as well.
And that's very great to hear. We're coming short on time here, so I just want to ask a couple more questions. In working with other banks or other lenders, we should say, should I, as a business, come to CEED first? Should I go to a traditional lender first? Is there a rubric that I should be thinking about?
That's an excellent question. As I mentioned earlier, we kind of do loans that the traditional lenders will not, for whatever reason. If you're asking for more than $20,000, you actually have to go to a traditional lender and be denied. So you have to do that twice before you come to me. So if you're looking for less, you don't have to go to a traditional lender, but if you're looking for more than 20, you have to start with them first and be denied and then come to me. And the reason is because our funds are coming from SBA, and the point of our whole process is to make sure that we're providing services to those that are unbankable, if you will, or that traditional lenders will not lend to.
So that was great. You got that bullet point in for us. So you are funded primarily, not completely, but primarily by SBA.
That's correct.
So this would be a type of an SBA loan. Mm-hmm. And is there anything else that we missed? Is there anything that we didn't touch on? I want to make sure that you give your contact information again.
Okay.
But other than that, take us out. Let us know something that maybe we forgot.
Well, we are celebrating our 31st year. And in a couple of weeks, we're going to be having our annual awards ceremony, or our annual awards dinner, and that's going to be at the Showplace. But I'd also like to say that we have about 700, between $200 and $700 dollars, or $700,000 that we really want to loan to our clients, and we'd like for them to contact us. And again, it can be a startup business, it could be an existing business, a home-based business. Our loans are from $5,000 to $50,000. And again, we cover 9 counties in Southeast Michigan, including Detroit. You can actually get more information on the location of the counties on our website.
And that web address is
www.miceed.org, and we'd love to hear from you.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
We were glad to have you. And thank you for watching. We'll be right back after this message. Welcome back. Now we're here with Greg Doyle. Greg, thank you for stopping by.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Happy to have you here. So Greg, you are the director of the Oakland County One-Stop Shop. Can you tell us what that is?
Yeah, the Oakland County One-Stop Shop is really a great resource for entrepreneurs in Oakland County. It's been around for a number of years, but really it's the last few years we've really grown the services available to entrepreneurs in Oakland County. So One Stop Shop provides some basic services for entrepreneurs. The first one that we do is a lot of education and training for entrepreneurs. And at the heart of what we do is one-on-one consulting. So in any given year, we're probably doing about 3,000 hours of one-on-one consulting with business owners and people that are looking to start a business.
Okay, and so you use one of my favorite words there, entrepreneurs. So when I think about entrepreneurs, I think about one of the things you said, which is startups. Tell me about some of the different types of businesses that you work with. Obviously startups, but what if I've had a business, a successful business for 5 or 6 years and I'm thinking about expanding? Should I think about the one-stop shop?
Yeah, that's a great question, because one of the things that's really changed for us over the last few years is that today, probably 75% of all the work that we're doing is actually with existing businesses. Doesn't mean that we don't work with startups anymore, but we certainly have shifted the emphasis to work with existing businesses, really in any industry, all the way from, hey, I just started that business, to businesses, $20 million, $30 million revenue businesses. So we really do a lot of work in just trying to help those businesses grow.
And you talked about counseling services and what it is that you do to help these businesses. Give me some examples of, a business that may come in and say, hey, I've got some sales and I want to get more sales. What do you do? How do you help?
Well, one of the things that we do in regards to trying to help a company build its sales is all around marketing. So there's a tremendous amount of market research that we do and market analysis. And we've got some great tools at Oakland County to help us really provide a lot of data to an entrepreneur around where their target market is, who their target market is, how their target market is going to respond to different types of media. It kind of goes on and on. It's really some great tools that we use and help put together a plan for someone to get from, X dollars in revenue to 2x dollars in revenue over a certain period of time. It's based on a lot of market research.
So a lot of what you do is counseling and market research, helping businesses determine exactly where those markets are that they should be going after, or maybe some markets that they didn't even know existed that fit their business. What about loans and lending? Do you help with that?
Yeah, that's, as you can imagine, if you're going to grow your business, you typically need capital to be able to do that. So we're working in any given day. Right now, we're probably working with about 8 to 10 companies right now on some type of financing, whether it's a traditional bank loan or maybe a seed loan, or even non-traditional funding through angels and VC. That's a lot of the work that we do. We help people actually prepare their loan package before they even go to a lender. It's a tremendous service that we've got on staff, people with years of financial background, banking experience. It's really a big part of what we do is helping people secure that capital.
So this is really interesting here. I'm hearing one-on-one counseling, loan packaging. You mentioned VC funding. You can help get them in front of VCs. How much is this going to set me back? I mean, these are some pretty intense services that you're offering.
They are. You know what? And here's the interesting thing. I hesitate to say that services are free because really the services have been paid for through your tax dollars. If you're an Oakland County resident, if you're an Oakland County-based business, or you're looking to locate your business in Oakland County, we're going to provide those services to you pretty much at no cost. The only cost you might see is when you take advantage of some of our workshops, which are going to be anywhere from no cost to about $40, $45. So it's a tremendous bargain. You've already paid for it in your taxes, and we really are trying to leverage a lot of the great tools that the county uses for a lot of other purposes besides small business consulting. But we've found ways to use a lot of things like GIS mapping and our marketing research databases in ways that can really help entrepreneurs here in Oakland County.
So Oakland County has taken the information that it already has, collected it, and now it's made it available to entrepreneurs through your office to help them grow their businesses.
Exactly. And you know that, I go back to some of these great tools that we have access to. Even financial data. We have a great financial tool that allows us to benchmark our company's financials against other companies in their industry of their size so that they can really see, how am I measuring up? How am I doing in comparison to my competitors? And that's a database of hundreds of thousands of companies' financial statements. But we're able to take that information, benchmark it, and really help the entrepreneur understand how they're doing in the industry.
So as a small business owner, it helps me determine, I'm not out there talking necessarily to other people who are selling the same product or service that I am, and it helps me determine, hey, is this something that's happening across the industry, or is there something that I'm doing? If there's something that I'm doing, then your counseling services can help me determine how to fix that trajectory.
Absolutely, yeah. I like, a lot of times I'll say, a lot of what we're doing is kind of like data-driven consulting. We use all this data that we have access to present to our clients and really talk about, hey, here's some of the decisions that you need to make, and here's what the data is showing if you move in this direction. Here, if you tweak your financials in this way, this is the possibilities for loans and all kinds of ways for us to use this data to help our clients really understand, what do they need to do next to grow that business.
Now, I know that is awesome. And I know you work with a lot of partners. You mentioned one of your partners, CEED. We actually just spoke with Belinda in the first part of our program today. Tell us about some of your other partners, and tell us about some of your more popular products that people come in and ask for. Sure.
Well, we have been really fortunate because we do have some great partners. The SBDC, the Small Business Development Centers of Michigan, is one of our partners. SCORE is another partner of ours. And of course, on staff at Oakland County, our business development and other organizations right within the economic development group are really great partners of ours. So, we add more and more partners to the fold as time goes on. We're very close to the OU Incubator as well as Automation Alley, of course, as well. So MEDC is on site with us, working with us and our clients on a regular basis. So the partnerships are, I think, really unique in the number of partnerships there are and what's being brought to the table for our entrepreneurs.
Right, and so for those of us who are new to economic development, MEDC is the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, and they're the arm of the state of Michigan whose job it is to help businesses grow and thrive here in Michigan.
Exactly.
And you mentioned that you have one of them on staff with you in your office.
Absolutely. So, there's so many things that the MEDC brings to the table for businesses here in Michigan that we really needed someone that had the expertise and the background working for the MEDC to help us work with our clients so they can take advantage of all of the things that the MEDC has to offer as well. So it's, again, another great partnership that's really helped our entrepreneurs here in Oakland County.
Now, one of the questions that I had, as I think about some of the businesses that I've worked with in my roles over the years, I'm going to throw out a couple of scenarios and ask, good fit for the Oakland County One-Stop Shop, yes or no, and then you can just run with it from there, okay?
Sure.
So I worked with one company, which is a small startup company, and the gentleman was trying to decide, pretty decent sales, and he was trying to decide, is it time for me to move out of my basement? So he wasn't quite sure. Good fit for one-stop shop?
Yeah, we get that all the time because so many of our entrepreneurs, that's the way they start. They're working out of the garage, out of the basement, and now all of a sudden they're bursting at the seams. So we've got a lot of stories of clients that we've worked with that now have moved out of that basement or that wherever they were operating into a bigger venue and had to hire one or two people to really keep the business moving and growing. So that's something that we deal with all of the time. We've got a lot of success stories there.
All right, got another one here for you. Small manufacturer, been in business for, I think she had been in business for about 10 years. and she was trying to decide about buying new equipment. Couldn't decide if she wanted to finance it, if she wanted to buy it outright, or if she wanted to lease. And then another option that she had was to buy used equipment. Good fit for your counseling services?
Yeah, yeah, it really is. One of the things that we would do with a client like that is, again, we do go back to using some of the financial tools we have that would basically say, hey, here's how much you need to increase sales in order to be able to afford that new equipment, and what's the best way to go? Is it lease? Is it buy? So we would work with the entrepreneurs to really do an analysis of all of that. What's the best option to get the equipment, and can you really afford to secure that equipment right now, or maybe do you need to wait a little bit?
Excellent, awesome. Well, we're coming short on time, and one thing that we didn't do was tell people how to get in touch with the Oakland County One Stop Shop. So I want to make sure that we get that in there now.
Sure. The easiest thing to do is go to our website, advantageoakland.com. And when you go to advantageoakland.com, on the right-hand side, you'll see a drop-down menu, and one of those selections will be Business Center. And when you click on that, you'll be open to a lot of actually free tools that we have online, templates and things like that to help entrepreneurs. But you'll have on every single page a button that says Request Counseling. And when you click on that button, you just take about 2 minutes to fill out some information for us. And we get that information and we get back to you within about 48 hours.
So we can find you on AdvantageOakland.com, and then we can also find you in the Oakland County Executive Office.
Absolutely, yeah. The one-stop shop is open to the public, so we have people walk in frequently. In fact, on Thursdays, we have a program called Walk-In Thursday. So if you've got a few questions, you can walk in, without an appointment, talk to one of our counselors for 15 minutes or so, get your questions answered, and get into our system if you want further counseling.
Well, Greg, thank you for coming out today. We really appreciate it and all the great information that you brought us.
It's my pleasure. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you, Greg, and thank you for watching Business Today. I'm Kelfani Stevens, the Economic Development Director for the City of Farmington Hills. If you need to reach me, I can be contacted at kstevens@fhgov.com. That's KSTEPHENS@fhgov.com, or by phone at 248-871-2506. Again, thank you.